questions. Got questions. I got coffee. Where's my sign? I got my sign. Ready to go. Drippy on this cup. Oh well, we'll make it work. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, June 26th, 2019. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. All right. So I almost had to do this show from the car. And you're thinking, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you have to do your show from a car? And I can sum it up in one word: Comcast. Let me explain. Yesterday, about an hour or two after I did the show, internet went down, which wasn't a big deal because I had a ton of meetings yesterday. I was out of the house most of the day. But when I got home last night from my last meeting, and I was getting ready to record an episode of Martial Arts Radio, the internet was still out. And I really spent some troubleshooting time on that, and in the end, it wasn't there. So I reached out to the guest, and I said, I'm sorry, we're going to have to reschedule. There's nothing I can do. And they said, no, that's fine. And I realized, hey, this has been out for a while. Everything on my end, it shows that it's fine. For those of you that don't know, I spent quite a few years doing computer work, doing IT. So I know a bit. I know some stuff. But here's the challenge. My cell phone barely works at home. Sometimes works well enough to make a call. Not usually. So I had to get in the car and drive about 4 miles away before I got a good signal. And I parked in a driveway. Well, parking lot for a business. And I called Comcast, and they said, no, everything looks fine on our end, blah, 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 blah. They said, go home and unscrew the coax connector from the back and plug it back in. That works 75% of the time. I said, yeah. So what do I do when that doesn't work? So we got set up with an appointment for today. Of course, not in the morning. I came home and I made tacos because it was Tuesday.
I found several taco places: Mad Taco, Julio's, and Baggitos Bagel and Burrito Cafe.
And apparently my Google home decided that I asked it about tacos. I didn't. Anyways, came back and just hung out. Went to bed early, woke up, and it was working again. So my backup plan was going to be to get up, make coffee, get in the car, drive into town. It's about a 12-minute drive, and find somebody with an open access point, open Wi-Fi, and do the show from there. That's what I was going to do. But I didn't have to, so I'm excited about that. Because, let's face it, I don't want to put on pants. I don't want to leave the house this early. I want to sit here and do this show, and that's about it. So, it all worked out. Coffee is really good. All right, so what's going on today? Today, I believe, let's see. If I got my days right, today is a good friend of the show, Sensei Craig Wareham's birthday. We've got a chat going on later. I'm going to talk to him. Not because it's his birthday, just because this was the first time we had to catch up, and it happens to be his birthday. So I'm going to talk to him. Piles of work to be done around here. I have to cancel my Comcast appointment. Coach CrossFit in the evening. What else? There's a lot of work to be done. Lots of work. We've got an order that went in for some black and white helmets. So that we'll be able to start building up inventory again. So those of you that are patiently waiting, thank you for your patience. We should have inventory issues remedied in the next few months, maybe sooner. So, fingers crossed. All right. We got some questions that came in. If you would like to ask a question, and I hope you do, we've got a very small group of people asking these questions, and I would love to see questions from a more diverse group. Best place to do it is in the comment section below on really any episode of First Cut. And I'll answer them the next day. When practicing forms for a belt test, how do you know you are ready? That's a great question. So when I practice my forms, when I'm getting ready for a belt test, first and foremost is I need to be able to correlate the name with the form and do the form in entirety without having to refer to someone else, watching them or anything, and be able to do it on my own. If it's a Taekwondo testing, I try to remember the names. That is an element that we are sometimes asked for in testing. I'm trying to think of what it's been like in other schools, other tests when I was younger. Bottom line, you need to be able to demonstrate proficiency of the form. Do you know the form? Can you do it on your own? Are you able to apply some speed, some power where it's appropriate? Do you know more than the bare minimum? I think that's kind of the first stage. And depending on how many forms you have and your relative competency with forms, that might be where you get new forms too for testing. If you're better with forms, or maybe you have fewer forms or you're looking to knock it out of the park, then I think what you're looking for is, am I able to demonstrate my overall martial arts proficiency through this form? That takes a lot more work. My neck is tight. That's better. Does that answer that question? I think so. There are a lot of ways you can practice forms. There are a lot of levels of competency, of proficiency that you can demonstrate with forms. But I think the key for testing is being able to showcase being able to showcase that what you know of martial arts is coming through in the form. What is one thing you wish more people knew about self-defense? That there's no winner. In my opinion, the only way you win a fight is to prevent it from happening, to avoid it, to de-escalate it. And in most self-defense situations, you're going to get hit. If there's a knife, you're going to get stabbed, cut. Real violence is ugly and messy. And quite often, I think martial artists forget or don't know how messy and gross it is. I saw a quote yesterday from Ryan Hoover, pretty sure it was Ryan Hoover, who's been a guest on the show. And he said, pretty sure he used the word hate, I hate our knife defense I just hate it less than other knife defenses. And it was such a brilliant quote, because the way most places teach knife defense, it's as if you're going to come out of a knife situation unscathed. And if you've done any kind of mildly realistic knife drills, you know how horrible it is. Somebody doesn't just come in and go, ugh, and wait for you to block it. That's the way most schools teach knife defense, at least that I've seen. It does seem like it's getting better. All right. Last question. Who is your least favorite character on Cobra Kai? Oh, great question. Now, does that, are we talking about the actor or actress and their ability to portray their role, or are we talking about the character they play? It does say character. So I'm going to go with character, which is great because that means I don't have to disparage someone's acting skill, which I don't want to do. I'm not great with names. Hold on. Let me pull up the cast. See, this is why I have this handy little thing here. Let me go to IMDb. Hey, that's funny. I think it was already there. Nope, that was a whole different movie. The Last Operative. The movie with a number of my friends. All right. So, cast. Come on. Assuming we're talking about some, the more prominent characters, it's probably Dimitri, the skinny, annoying kid. But at the same time, I think that's what we're supposed to think of him. We're supposed to dislike him. So many of the characters in there we're supposed to dislike. They're conflicted. They're real human beings. You know, you look at someone like Hawk, the kid with the mohawk. And he was tortured. And how much of an impact that had on him, and now he finally feels like he has some strength. And he doesn't know what to do with it. I had a situation recently where the first significant bully I had as a child reached out to me and wanted to be friends. And it wasn't the first time. And I just couldn't handle it. I deleted it. And I realized this person has friended me multiple times. It's been quite a long time. At this point, it's on me, not them. And I sent them a message and said, I can't handle being friends with you. You tortured me. And I've forgiven you, but I'm not going to be your friend. I felt I owed him that. I owed him being honest. And I see a lot of those kind of exchanges happening in this show, which is probably part of why I like it. The interactions between the kids on the show are very realistic to me. And you see people working stuff out. And it's great. It's valuable. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dimitri because he irritates me. because he's the one that needs martial arts the most, and he's the one least aware of that, least willing to put in the work. So, homework in a moment. If you drop a question below, I'll answer it tomorrow. And I hope you do. I like answering questions. It's my favorite part about this show. So, don't forget, we do this show every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. Of course, you can catch it later on YouTube at firstcupwithjeremy.com or in your podcast feed. Even if you're watching it live, please, hold on, Wesley. Even if you're watching it live, please subscribe to the podcast. Let's build those numbers so we can get some sponsors on this show, and I can pay for things like coffee. All right, Wesley, question before I forget. What would have to change in order for my smart speaker to be able to play Whistlekick Martial Arts Radio without issues? So I have not successfully played martial arts radio over Google, but I have gotten it to play over Alexa. And I think I had to do it without using the word whistlekick. Let's try it. Hey Google, play the latest episode of Martial Arts Radio Podcast.
Okay, playing the latest episode of Whistlekick Martial Arts Radio, episode 408, Shihan Beth Beelan.
There you go. Hey Google, stop. So there you go. Drop the word whistlekick. Make sure you add the word podcast at the end. That should work. I'm glad I got that on the first try. Makes me feel smart. Makes it seem like I know what I'm doing. Blah, blah, blah. I told you about all that. Okay. Thanks, Wesley. All right. So here's your homework today. When I was going through this annoying, frustrating, but really in the grand scheme, not that big of a deal situation of not having internet last night, there are a couple ways that I could have handled it. I could have gotten really upset. I could have yelled at Comcast. I could have got on social media and complained, which admittedly I was tempted to. I could have taken my laptop and gone to Panera to do work or to watch a movie. But I didn't. I took it as an opportunity. I'm home. I don't have the distraction of internet. I don't have anything I really have to do. I mean, yeah, I should have gotten that podcast episode done, but we have a buffer. We have episodes in the can. It can wait for a reschedule. So I said, what do I want to do? Well, I took a little bit more time making dinner, making tacos. About a month ago, I bought one of those little Nintendo classics, the tiny little old school ones, like the Nintendo I had when I was a kid. I didn't have, but my friends had. And I started playing Final Fantasy. Not for long, maybe 30 minutes. Did that. I had a drink, had a beer, had tacos, played video games, and I just enjoyed how quiet it was. Sometimes I think the world, the universe, life presents us with these opportunities to simplify things. I kind of had an excuse to not do anything more, and I took it. And it was nice. It felt good. So your homework is to look for the opportunities in your day. What can you do that goes with the flow? I could have fought back against the current, left the house, taken my laptop, gone and done work, half a dozen other things in frustration. But I was given no internet. Okay, so what do I do without internet? I took it. Did I expect the internet to come back on overnight? No, not at all. But it makes me feel that much more like I made the right choice, just kind of dealing with it for a few hours. Go with the flow. Try to go with the flow today on at least one thing. It's not easy, but it's often worth it. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.